Okay. Hi everyone. Good to see you guys. I apologize. I'm about 25 minutes late today. I've been feeling kind of sluggish. I don't know if you guys are feeling the whole hibernation feel with this winter that's happening. Yeah, I just felt kind of slow today. I took a nap as soon as I got home from work, and I apologize. I just started my new rotation or my new schedule. It's an 8-hour shift, so I'll get more into that later. But first, yeah, let me just go ahead and pull up the slides and then I can give you guys more updates. I just have a terrible habit of just having this and then just going with what I'm saying and forgetting that I have a presentation to do first. All right, so welcome to session 14, the Homebody Cafe, and we will also be continuing our grammar lesson. All right, so for today's itinerary, I just feel like we might just skip our language acquisition tracker today. If you guys don't know what that is, I would just suggest you guys watch the previous videos, and it's like the very first couple segments. I don't know if I should just do it. Okay, forget it. I'll just do it. I feel kind of lazy, but I'm just like, yeah, it's just that feeling. Okay, hi Hans, thank you for checking. So, yeah, first we have greetings. We'll go over the language acquisition tracker. I'm just gonna go through it in like hopefully 5 minutes just to review you guys on what that is about, and then more details can be found in previous videos. And then the end of the stream, oh sorry, we have English for Everyone chapter 7, probably 8 and 9 today, so maybe 7 through 9 because chapter 7 is a vocabulary, and we have questions, comments, concerns, and suggestions. All right, first, greetings. Yeah, it's been a while. I had to skip out last week because I think I canceled because I was out with friends and we were studying. We spent the whole week last week working on paperwork. So I was really busy focusing on that. So I couldn't stream that week, unfortunately. And good news is that I finished that paper, submitted it on time. Hopefully it's being graded on its updated version, and we'll see where it goes from there. Other than that, my friends and I have just been working endlessly on just catching up with work. It was just a lot of important documents that just couldn't be excused. Yeah, and then I'm trying to remember because it feels like I went through like technically 2 weeks, right? Because I haven't streamed for a week. And I think other updates are... I'm sorry, let me say that again. And I think some other updates are, as you guys can probably tell, I have a new webcam. It looks really, really good. I actually have a comparison of the camera that I used to use, which is the one that's built into my laptop. And what's happening is that... Sorry, I'm so congested right now. The light is super bright right now. You will see it once I show you my other camera. And I just look super washed out, and I can see it on my screen because I have an edit version and then it shows the live version. Okay, let me just show it to you. It's just hilarious for me. Okay, so you can see there's my two cameras. The one on the right is my live stream. This is my laptop camera. And then the one that you're seeing that's kind of like delayed in response, that's my new webcam camera that I bought during Black Friday. So it looks really nice. I think the angle is also really pretty too. So if ever anything goes wrong with my external webcam camera, we always have my fallback, which is this camera. And then I would totally have to tone down the lighting just because I look really washed out, as you can tell. So yeah, that's one of the updates, and I feel like it's so funny because I don't think I'm looking at the camera. My camera is actually standing on top of my water pitcher, which makes the angle look really good, but yeah, I think it just takes some time to get used to. Yeah, I think that's about it in terms of camera. Let's see. We're gonna go back to the teaching stream. I guess other updates, there was TAP for West Coast swing dancing over the weekend. Basically what that is that dance sport. It's like a pro level competition for amazing dancers. I don't think they had some for beginners. Hans went for sure, so that's our Frost Bunny who went. I wanted to go, but again, my week has been so busy, I wasn't able to do anything other than just focus on my paper. So yeah, it's a sacrifice that's needed to be done. Yeah, and I think that's about it. Other than that, you guys can hear I'm sounding much better. I'm still coughing here and there, but it's not as frequent as before. And I've just been taking care of myself. And yeah, the after party. Oh, I see. TAP stands for the after party. Okay, I got it. Thank you, Hans. But yeah, that was the after party. I think everyone had a great time. You had an opportunity to dance with the professionals, and the pros just came there just to have fun, you know, because, you know, when you do anything competition related, you kind of burn yourself out. And yeah, just having the after party and having fun is just always a nice touch. Anyways, so we're gonna transition over to my update of being sick. And I'm sorry, I just mentioned it briefly and I came back just because I saw Hans's message in the chat. But yeah, I have for the most part fully recovered. My throat is starting to feel better. I noticed that there's some parts of my voice that disappears when I sing, like when I'm singing a different key or a particular key and head voice. When I try to sing a note, I'm like, my voice disappears and I'm like, oh. So something about my cough totally affected my my vocal cords. So I gotta build that part of my throat again and hopefully be able to have a stronger head voice, because I think just coughing so much definitely has taken a toll on it. I think other than that, I'm just coughing a little bit, and yeah, I think that's about it. Other things that are new, I believe, is I mentioned that I've been feeling kind of sleepy, mainly because one, it's definitely hibernation season. I'm starting to feel it. My internal body clock or whatever I'm feeling is just telling me I need to sleep. And I do feel kind of tired today, but I told myself I gotta show up for this because I really want to be here for you guys. So the stream will end in about an hour. So we already got 11 minutes in at the moment, and I hopefully get to stick within that 60 minutes. Maybe I might even aim for 90 minutes maximum for today, just so we can keep you guys up to speed. Other than that, oh yeah, because I started work this week with my new schedule, so I have to wake up at around 6 a.m. in the morning, and then I have to drive to LA around by 6:30, so I can get to work by 7:50, and then work starts at 8:30. So I'm required to be there earlier because that 8 o'clock to 8:30 window is my preparation time before I go to classrooms and stuff. So yeah, sometimes I use that time just to eat breakfast because I'm in a rush in the morning, so I just have to get there, and I spend my whole day at work, so I have to pack myself 3 meals a day so I can eat dinner on the drive back home. And then usually when I get home, I just like take a shower and then I just go to sleep. It's just a very, very long day for me. So I apologize again. I'm kind of slow today because I'm just feeling super exhausted with this new schedule, and it's the start of the week, so it's gonna take a lot of my energy, and I need to just be patient with myself, and I will totally be okay. Because again, I've noticed that after a week, my social battery just feels much better. I'm able to tolerate more things and spend more energy on other stuff. So yeah, it's a process. So yeah. Okay, so bear with me. We are now gonna move on to language acquisition tracker. And what we're working on now is this page. Goodness, let me see if I can open it. Also, I'm just wondering, Hans, since you're the one watching this chat, is my voice not matching with my camera? Because from what I see, my camera's lagging just like a second or something. So I'm curious if it's like matching or not. LAT. And I'll give Hans like a second because I think he needs to just glance for a second. He's multitasking, so yeah. Also, a slight lag. Uh-oh. Okay, I gotta figure out how to fix that. Also, I'm gonna eat some sort of potato snack I have here. My grandma or my mom made this, so I am kind of hungry, so I'm just snacking a little bit. Okay. Let's see. I mean, your video has a slight lag. 1 to 2 seconds. Oh dear, I need to fix that. Oh my gosh, that's frustrating. Because I don't want the video to lag. I don't know how to fix it. What if I do this? Does this work? Oh no, it's still like a 1 second delay. Darn. Oh, my question is my video like a second delayed from me speaking? Because I know for live streams my video is lagging by default by like 1 to 5 seconds. So I'm just curious if I'm talking right now and it's not matching my voice, like the video to my voice. This is my new camera, by the way. So I need to figure out how to fix that if that's the case. I'm just waiting for him to respond. Okay. So while he's verifying that for me and gonna type his answer, I'll go over the language acquisition tracker. So the language acquisition tracker basically means it's just a 1 week tracker of your language acquisition. Smart name, right? LAT. Anyways, I put specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. Basically, I'm trying to specify your SMART goals. I should have written goals somewhere here now that I look at it in retrospect. And we're talking about like, what did you work on the week of? So I haven't been updating this, to be honest with you guys, just because I kind of just got tired of typing it. But you can personalize it to however you wish. And I believe this says last week's, which was 5 to 6. And then you talk about measurable, like how is it measured? You completed activities from the lecture book and practice book. Was it attainable? Like you completed it in a week, or you studied for how long? Relevant is just like the lesson you're learning. Is it related? Is it relevant to what you're trying to improve on as an English speaker? And then time bound is 1 week. So you have a little motivation purpose part right here, and you're just filling in like reminders for yourself when you forget, like, why am I learning this lesson? It will remind you, like, for the purpose, like, why are you learning this in the first place? And it's really good to have a motivation or purpose reminder, just because there are times when you learn English and it's just like, it's so frustrating because our rules are not consistent, unfortunately, and it happens. And in addition to that, okay. And in addition to that, it doesn't match the sound. Oh no! That's frustrating. Okay. I just saw Hans's message. I will do something about the camera. We'll figure it out as we go. So apologies for the 1 second delay. I had not noticed. So yeah, please bear with me. It's just a second delay. Yeah, we have improved the English. Use my accurate prepositional phrases. Use accurate numeric mathematical expressions. And then you have your little checklist or task/activities. The date that you completed it within the week. And then you can keep track of your progress here. And then you have your notes. Like, you can write here things that you forgot about, things that you want to work on, etc. These are just some examples I made up in the previous week, or yeah, in the last few weeks as reference. And then your milestone or progress markers. This is supposed to show how much you've learned in that 1 week. So there's that. And then at the very end, I like to write about reflections, just because you get to think about, okay, what worked with you, what didn't work, and how can you improve it. And what didn't work here is where you can reflect on how could you improve things. So this is the next part, things I can improve on. And then that's it. So it just helps you keep track of how can you make your learning experience better for you as a learner? And that is super crucial as a language learner, because if you don't enjoy what you're doing, you start to not find any purpose of learning the language that you're learning. And that happens a lot for all language learners. So that's why it's really important to take your language acquisition journey quite seriously, because it is a personal journey for you. And you gotta find ways that make it fun for you to learn. And yeah, that's about it. So that's basically what the language acquisition tracker is. And if you guys are interested in purchasing your own, I made this myself, and I made this based on my observation as a teacher teaching English and teaching online and teaching several private lessons. I realized that it's really important for learners to have their own language profile. This is what I call them. And it's essential because it'll help them develop their language learning skills. And also keep track of it, which is really crucial, because I know a lot of learners always tell me like, oh, Teacher Hana or Professor Hana, how do you know that you are improving? And I tell them, well, have you tried keeping a journal? Is there anything that keeps a record of your improvement over time? And in most cases, a lot of my students say no. They usually like keep notes from lectures, but that doesn't really show that much of your acquisition. Like, can you show more of it? It kind of feels like it's parroting. What I mean by parroting is that you look at the book, you look at the example, and then you respond to it with what you learned from the book, which is kind of okay, but it's kind of like restricted to how you should phrase your word and didn't use certain vocabulary. So I think it should be more open-ended questions that'll help you develop it. And if you have a huge collection of all of that, then it shows that this is your language acquisition and this is your progress in X amount of months, days, weeks, years, whichever. So yeah, it's really important to have some sort of tracker, or else you won't be able to see your improvements. But enough of that spiel. We're gonna go ahead and transition back to the presentation so that we have a very nice transition to our next topic, which is English for everyone. Hopefully this shows. One second. All right, here we are. So we have language talking about jobs. English uses the word jobs and work in a variety of contexts to talk about different professions, working conditions, and career paths. So we have the vocabulary words: architect. Also, sorry, I'm trying to move the screen. There we go. Here we are. We have architect, electrician, musician, flight attendant, firefighter, travel agent, mechanic, fashion designer, hairdresser, plumber, surgeon, pilot. Okay. We have butcher. Sorry, I have a lot of phlegm. Butcher, journalist, vet, and writer. So something interesting I want to point out is that what all of these words have in common, hopefully if you guys have been speaking English for a while, you have nouns, right? So if it helps you guys remember something about nouns, nouns are typically stressed at the beginning. So in most cases, of course, there's a lot of exceptions because it does happen where maybe the middle part is stressed the most, but for the most part, nouns are stressed at the beginning. So again, I say architect. So we have electrician, which is one of the exceptions I told you. Electrician. Yeah, it's the third one. Electrician. The electrician. So I hear the stress at the trip part. If I were to stress at the beginning, it would be electrician. Electrician. Actually, let me see. I have to play around with this. Electrician or electrician. Technically, these two are acceptable. It just really depends. I wonder if it's a difference between American versus British or not. So we have electrician versus electrician. So, but again, these two are both acceptable. I think it might just be a slight, how do I say it? It's a slight stress, but yeah, this is either the first or the third. This one, musician, musician. So here, musician. The musician. Musician. If I were to stress the first one, musician. If I stress the second one, musician. And in the end, musician. So yeah, the second one is the stress. This one, flight is definitely the stress one. Flight attendant. Flight attendant. Oh, sorry. I forget. The stress happens between two different words. So flight attend. So 10. Oh, that's not it. A is separated. 10. Dent. So it's a second one. Flight attendant. Flight attendant. And then firefighter. So this one is this is kind of treated as two words. So it'd be like fire, fighter, because the second stress I hear is at the front. Firefighter. Firefighter, I think. These two are definitely sound stressed. Firefighter. Yeah, it sounds like. There we go. Firefighter. There you go. Firefighter. And then we have travel agent. Travel agent. Yeah, the A is stressed. Travel agent. Travel. Travel agent. Travel agent. Travel agent, yeah. Again, it's here. So sometimes it throws me off because when they put the words together, like flight attendant, firefighter, and travel agent, I'm looking at them as, okay, do I need to separate the words or not? And then what are the syllables? Like these lines I'm making here are called syllables, and I'm trying to find the stress. And more often than not, a lot of people who are learning a different language, they don't know where to put the stress of the word. And each language has their own stress. So if you have a noun, for example, maybe where you stress your noun is in a different position than it is in English. But as you can see in English, we have the second one, the third one, and for the most part, it's always the first one. Excuse me. Then we have mechanic. 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 Not mechanic or mechanic. Mechanic. We have fashion designer. Fashion designer. Fashion designer. Then next we have hairdresser. So this is kind of treated as two words. Hairdresser. Plumber. Plumber. The B is silent. That's ending there. Plumber. Surgeon. Pilot. Butcher. journalist, journalist, front, journalist, vet, because it's only one syllable, and writer. Oops. Writer. There you go. I don't know if this helps you guys, but when you listen to future vocabulary, just pay attention to how they say things. In most cases, okay, let me just write a note of it down here for you guys. Most cases, I hear that nouns are typically at the front. And I put mostly. Not always, as we just saw. Sometimes it can also be in the second or third. So it can be anywhere, but I think where I don't usually hear a noun is at the end. So not the last syllable. There might be an exception. I'm not fully aware of that. Only because if it's really rare, I barely see it. So as far as my knowledge at the moment, I don't think nouns are ever stressed on the last syllable. Maybe they do, but I could be wrong. Just because I just don't remember anything that comes at the top of my head where they stress the last syllable. Verbs are usually the second. Let me also write this here. Are stressed. What is stressed? Okay. So nouns are stressed at the front mostly, second or third, not the last syllable. Are stressed in the second. I think it was second. Hold on. I'm trying to think of a word. I'm like trying to think of a word that we use. Oh, address versus address. That's a good one. Okay. This is our example, and I'm gonna just write it in blue, just so you guys can see it. So, depending on how this word is being seen, we have your house address, right? We have, oh sorry, let me just do another color code, just so you guys can see it. We have gray. So, we have address, and then this A is pronounced as A as an apple. And this is the noun. What is your house address? So what is your address? Right? This is your noun. Now, if you were to change it over to verb, the pronunciation is address, and then this one becomes so address the question. So the A becomes a B, turn V. Hold on. Turn V or schwa. I think it's okay, it might be schwa. Is because we have to know if it's stressed or unstressed. So the A is stressed here. Address. And this looks like a scripted A. Schwa. Come on. There you go. That's the schwa. So this is the verb. And notice here we have two syllables, right? We have address and then there's address. So most cases, verbs are stressed in the second syllable. It can also be in the third. There might be rare cases where it is also in the first or at the front, but for the most part, it's frequently the second syllable. So, an example of being third would be like graduate. Like, she graduated. So, graduated. She graduated. So here we have a third as example. She graduated in the fall. So as you can see, verbs, it's kind of similar. Sorry. We have a lot of exception rules in English, which is what makes it a cursed language to learn. But as you can see, there is a majority pattern. That's all I'm gonna say. Nouns are usually at the front, but they can be in the second or third, but not the last syllable. Verbs are typically in the second syllable. Yes, they're typically in the second syllable, sometimes third or fourth, depending on how many syllables there are in the sentence. So what's really important is to know what is the overall number of the word. So if it's like 5 syllables, it's probably going to be the second, third, or fourth. For the verbs, if it's going to be 5 syllables for a noun, it could be the first, second, or third stress. It's one of them there. So it's just some patterns I kind of notice. It's not always consistent. That's just so you know. So that's a perfect example of how stress affects the word class of English, which kind of sucks, which is why English is such a cursed language. So again, we have our nouns as address. What is your address? And then I forgot to write examples for the verb. So you would say the word address the question. Address the question means answer the question, by the way. So, what is your address? Address the question. And it sounds like it's a command and a statement. But yeah, those are my notes on what I notice in terms of syllables and recognizing stress. Okay. We've arrived at 7.2. Read the job advertisements and highlight the highlighted words next to their definitions. Also, if you're new here, welcome. I see there's 3 people in the chat watching in here right now. So yeah, welcome. Hope you guys enjoy this. Read the job advertisement and write the highlighted words next to their definition. Job listings. Urgently wanted. Trainee. Let me see if I can zoom in for you guys. There we go. Urgently wanted. Trainee hairdresser. 30 hours per week, divided between part-time work in the salon and part-time work at our hair academy. Sports journalist needed. Attractive salary of $40,000 per year and generous annual vacation. This position is full-time. Then we have part-time butcher needed for busy local shop. We offer a competitive wage of $15 per hour and the possibility of overtime work for the right candidate. We have architectural practice is looking for an intern for 6 months. No salary is offered, but the position may lead to a full-time job. And finally, firefighters required urgently. Are you fit and healthy? Happy to work an 8-hour shift? Apply online with your CV now. I'm trying to pinch the page. Sorry, guys. So we're gonna go ahead and look at the questions here. Sorry, I'm trying to pinch. Okay. Hopefully this is wide enough for you guys to see. So you are going to fill in the blank, and if you're watching this on stream right now, I might give it like a minute for you to fill out the questions here. I'm gonna read the questions first, and then you're gonna match based on what I read earlier. And if you guys are watching this video after the end of the stream, feel free to pause the video and then compare your answer with mine. And then, yeah, see how well you know this. So we have work in addition to your set hours for number 1. Describes a complete working week. Someone who does unpaid work to gain experience. Number 4, a period of work of a set numbers of hours. 5, a fixed amount of money paid per year, often monthly. 6, describes an incomplete working week. 7, a fixed number of days off work per year. 8, a fixed amount of money paid per hour, often weekly. And if you want to participate, feel free to write in the chat. I'm totally okay with that. So I'll give you like a minute and then we'll go over the answers. Okay, so hopefully you guys have had enough time to go over the answers here. Ooh, apologies. All right, number 1, working in addition to your set hours. So what this basically means is you have your set hours. So let's say you work 8 hours a day, right? And they tell you have to work in addition to your set hours. Also, I realize I'm using red. I should go back to black. So you have 8 hours plus more hours. So that would be considered your overtime. So it's this one right here. So $15 per hour and the possibility of overtime work for the right candidate. So it might be difficult in terms of the word that they use to describe it or define it, which is okay, because the first time I did this, I was like, okay, that's such a weirdly worded word. So that's okay. You could have used order of elimination, which is fine. 2, describe a complete working week. So a complete working week is basically you work majority of the time. So it's not part-time, but full-time. Full-time up here. Sorry. 3, someone who does unpaid work to gain experience. You are called an intern. It also says here, no salary is offered, but the position may lead to a full-time job. So when you say no salary, it's someone who does not get paid. So it's unpaid. 4, a period of work of a set of number hours. So you're given a period of work of a set of number hours. So that means you're given time, but it's not full-time. So this, oh, sorry, not full-time. I actually thought this was also part-time. because the way they worded it is kind of weird. So technically it could be part-time, but the answer key also says that it's considered shift. So a fixed amount of money, sorry, a period of work of a set number, number of hours, that's why. So this would have to be shift. They didn't say like working week. That's what I'm looking at in terms of how they chose the wordings here. 5, a fixed amount of money paid per year, often monthly. So if we're looking at monthly, it's actually salary. So they said here, salary of $40,000 per year. So typically, $40,000 per year is divided by 12 months, right? And then that's how much you make per month. So that's the relationship here. So monthly, paid per year, you have salary. All right, number 6, describe an incomplete working week. Now, this is the weird word choice again. They had one that says complete working week, and then they said incomplete working week. Such a weird phrase to say it. So this one has to be part-time. Okay. We also had salary done. Okay, a fixed number of days off work per year. They call this your annual vacation. We actually have another word here, but it's not listed here on this specific exercise. We also have something called PTO, and it's called paid time off. Not all jobs have this. My job offers PTO, so I can leave work, let's say if I need a sick day, for example, I have PTO, so I can request, okay, this number of hours can be paid while I'm not at work. Okay. But this one at number 7 doesn't specifically address that it is paid time off. They just said number of days off per year. So if you're having any time off of work, there is a lot of words. So you can actually say PTO, you can say sick time leave, or not sick time leave, maybe it's called sick leave is another one. So if you actually have, like, for example, like COVID, you have sick leave, you have to leave work. And then there's also annual vacation. So we have 3 different words we could use, but they have different or specific definition, which is important to know. PTO means you get paid while you're away. Annual vacation means that you're taking time off to have a vacation. Typically these annual vacations, you don't get paid when you're away. And then there's also sick leave. This is depending on your company. Sometimes they might pay you if you're sick, or you might not get paid. Unfortunately, that's the case. Next, a fixed amount of money paid per hour, often weekly. This is called wage. All right, so that leaves one thing that was not used, and the word that wasn't used was trainee. So you might wonder, okay, what's trainee? Trainee is just someone that you're training. So you have the word trainer. You have the word training. Training. So training is the action, or like what you're supposed to do. You're training someone. Trainer is the person who trains the individual. Trainee, with the 2 E's at the end, just means that they're receiving this kind of work. So trainee, meaning they're the ones who's receiving training. Yeah. Oh wait, I just realized they have it covered here. Someone who is learning a job. There you go, trainee. All right, we are now moving on to rewrite the highlighted words. So we have to change them into spelling choice. There's also if they're using the appropriate words, which we went over above here. Yeah, technically it would look much more convenient if you have written down all of these words here. So I'm gonna go over this one, well, on this page. Take a screenshot, write down the notes somewhere, but this is basically your word bank to replace the highlighted words below. So again, there are trainee, overtime, full-time, intern, shift, salary, part-time, annual vacation, and wage. So hopefully you already got that. Now we are going to look at the letter. We have, Dear Miss Cox, I am very excited to hear that your company needs a trainee architect. I worked as an intern at an architecture firm last year and believe that I have the skills and experience needed for this job. I am happy to work over hours and would expect a wage of $30,000 per year. I am ideally looking for full-time work, but would also be willing to consider a half-time job. Yours sincerely, Joshua Adams. So again, I'm gonna recommend you pause the video right now to answer the questions. And if you need more time, that's a perfect time to do it. So without further ado, I feel like there might be just a few people here left, so I'm just gonna go ahead and move on and get us to answer the next question. Or answer the chat here. I don't know what I'm saying. Answer the activity. There you go. I've tried it 3 times already. Number 1, they said trainee. So here they identified that there's 3 E's. So trainee is only 2 E's. Here, number 1, I worked as an intern. So it's just a spelling error in turn with the R. Next one, 2, over hours. That's not a word. It should be overtime. Okay. Next one, they said I would expect a wage of $30,000 per year. Wage is incorrect because it's the wrong vocabulary. If you're saying per year, it is salary. Wage is just like hourly. Wage or rate. These 2 words are interchangeable. So like people would ask me, okay, what is your rate for teaching students for private lessons? And I would say my rate is $30 an hour. For example. That's just an example. My rates actually depend on what the student needs. So if you just check out my my Ko-Fi account, if you check in the descriptions box below and go to my Ko-Fi page, my rates are actually different. It just depends on what the student needs, and then that's how much I charge per hour. Or per 30 minutes. So, yeah. Actually, no, let's just keep it there. Why did I delete it? Okay. Then we have the next one. We have over hours, overtime, wage. The hint was per year, so it has to change to salary. And then I'm ideally looking for full-time. Full-time has a dash. Full dash time. And then I'm considering a half-time job. There's no such thing as half-time. It is considered part-time. And this one's also a dash. Part-time job. And that should be your answer. Key language, job or work. So the words job and work are commonly confused in English. I enjoy my job. Job can only be a noun. It cannot be a verb. But the word work can be a noun. I enjoy my work. And it can also be used as a verb. I work in an office. So notice in this case, in terms of the pronunciation, work and work are exactly the same. So this is just a classic example of a homonym. So homonyms basically means that, if I remember correctly at the top of my head, homonyms are words that have the exact pronunciation. And I don't know if it's the same spelling too. Let me just pull it up because I'm curious. Define homonyms. Homophones are just, they have the same words. So homonyms, each of the 2 or more have the same spelling or pronunciation, but different meanings and origins. Ah, okay, this one's different. I actually really like this chart because there's a lot of them that they have here. Fun. This one's different. So everything, okay, so where does the word homo come from? It's Latin. We have it's basically homophones or homo something. It's just Latin root. Depending on how it's being attached, it can be ho at the front or mo on the second, or it can be homo. It doesn't matter how you say it. Unfortunately, Latin is a dead language, so there probably is a perfect pronunciation for it, but I have yet to do my research and understand how to actually say Latin words. But we have the English borrowed words, so we pronounce it as homophones, homonyms, and homographs. So homophones, same sound, different spelling. So no and no, 8 and 8, 4 and 4. Homonyms, same sound, same spelling. Can and can, ring and ring, tire and tire. Okay. Homograph is same spelling, different sounds. So bass and bass, bow and bow, tear and tear. Interesting. Yes. So we have homonym here for work and work, but I think they said homonym doesn't have the same pronunciation. So onym means name and combined with the prefix is literally translated as same name, a pair or set of words that are spelled and pronounced the same but have different meanings. That's the interesting part. So here they don't mention it that homonyms typically have different meanings. It could possibly count as a homonym simply because oh dear. Why is it not sharing screen? Sorry about that. The screen just closed itself. There we go. So it could be homonym because we're using work as a noun and work as a verb. So that could be the difference in meaning. So that could be the case. That's my understanding of it. It's just a different class. All right. So we have I'm looking for a job. Job is used as a specific role. It is a countable noun. So let's highlight that. I'm looking for a job. And I have so much work to do. Work is uncountable. And it is used for general activities. Interesting. We're really getting into the nitty-gritty things about, should I say semantics? Or how words are being particularly used here. So when you say, for example, let's say I have a lot of paperwork to do, like what I mentioned at the beginning of the stream. Last week I didn't stream because I had a lot of paperwork to do. So I didn't say I have a lot of job to do because it doesn't feel right. And plus it's a general activity, right? It's generalized. So paperwork could be used as work because it is under the category of generalization. Oops. If you are an artist, so like I have a lot of artist friends online, and they always say, oh my gosh, I have so much artwork to do. I have a lot of commissions to make. So they would say I have a lot of work to do. So work can also be like the general category or the general word for artwork. Art commission, for example. So work can be used as a replacement for that. So that's fine. But if you're saying I have a lot of job to do, it just doesn't seem appropriate and it sounds very, very weird. So job, from what I see in terms of grammatical explanation, it's a specific role and it's countable. So you can count it. Work is uncountable, so you cannot count it, and it's used for general activities. So I start work at 9 o'clock. I get to work by bus. So English uses work to talk about working hours and travel. So just like I mentioned here, it's just work is being used as the blanket term. So what is another example? Let me see if I can actually do this. Sorry. So here I'm gonna say another example. So let's say clean the dishes, right? So I clean the dishes. So we substitute the word clean with do. I do the dishes. Another one. I cleaned the bed, right? I cleaned the bed or I fixed the bed. Another alternative. What you're trying to say here is a literal explanation that you are cleaning your bed so it looks nice and presentable. So we changed that word to made. I made the bed. So you can see what we did. We have, this is an example of like the blanket or general term. Because this is a very slang or like it's an everyday. I'm trying to remember the name of this word, so I apologize. I have like brain fog right now. Slang or informal. There is a specific name for this, and I taught this a year or so ago. So I'm actually gonna pull it up on, what did we call it? It's just gonna bother me if I don't remember it. But like I remember, it was basically, I made the bed. Oh wait, I cleaned the bed too. There's an actual name for it. I totally forgot what it's called. Better verb describing making the bed. Ah, there we go. That's the word I was looking for. It's phrasal verbs. Haha! I knew if I looked it up, I would remember it. Oh dear. Okay. I think at some point in this book, we are gonna come across something called phrasal verbs. And I'm not really a fan of this word. I don't like it when people say, oh, this is called a phrasal verb. And the reason for it is because I feel like phrasal verb is just a very lazy way. I hate to say it, but it is a very lazy explanation because it's just words that are accepted. So phrasal verb basically means verbs that are used with other words that make a phrase. So it's like an acceptable everyday saying. So this is an example of phrasal verbs. I clean the bed, or sorry, I clean the dishes. We change it to I do the dishes. Do is the phrasal verb. We're showing the connection of how do is being used. It replaces things. We have I cleaned or I fixed the bed becomes I made the bed. It's not a literal saying that you created the bed, like you created the mattress and covered it up and all of the materials to make it. You don't take it literally. So it's a phrasal verb. And then this is another example. I start work at 9 o'clock and I get to work by bus. We are using it as a phrasal verb. So that's a classic example of it. And I'm not a fan of the explanation just because I just think personally, I think it's just lazy explanation. Because we do have a lot of phrasal verbs in English. And it's mainly because it's accepted into slang. Or informal English, sorry. Not slang, but informal. That is the main reason why. And it sucks. Okay. We are now moving on. We have fill in the gaps with job or work. So remember, job is going to be used. I like to write my little reminders here. Job is a noun. It's specific. And it's countable. Work, on the other hand, can be a noun, a verb. It's a phrasal verb. Phrasal or general. And then it's also uncountable. So if you remember these two, you can tell them apart. So next, I'm gonna read the questions, and then you can get a feel of whether you should write job or work. And if you need more time, feel free to pause the video if you're watching this after the stream. But I will also go ahead and give the answers shortly. Other than that, I'm just gonna give you guys a minute. I feel like there's a couple more people in the chat, so I'll give you guys like a minute or two to just answer this, and we'll compare answers. Meanwhile, I'm gonna eat another potato chip. Alright, so it's been a minute. Let's go over the answers. This is really hard work. I can't come as I have to work late. Okay. 3, it is difficult work, but I love it. Oh, let me see. Okay. This is interesting. The reason why I said difficult work, it's because I didn't see The actual answer here is it is a difficult job. So if we are specifying with a, remember, it's a noun and it's specific. It is a difficult job, but I love it. However, if we were to change this, and I'm gonna go with blue, if you take off a, it will become it is difficult work, but I love it. And this is actually accepted because in everyday conversation, we actually do say this. So for example, me as a teacher, being a teacher is hard. It is difficult work, but I love it. Notice that I don't say because I'm talking about when I use the word work, the context I'm saying is that the things I have to do as a teacher. I have to prepare lesson plans, I have to grade paper, I have to meet with students, I have to teach for long hours and then go home, rest, and repeat the next day. So it is difficult work, but I love it. So work in this phrase is talking about the things I do as a teacher. That is what is considered difficult work. But if I were to talk about my job as a teacher, I have to say So I love being a teacher. It is a difficult job, but I love it. So notice how the sentence changes in these two examples. It's because by just changing the word and altering it slightly, you change the context of what you're talking about. So just review again. It is a difficult job, but I love it. So I am referring to the job of being a teacher. And I'm talking about being a teacher is a difficult job. It's a difficult career. But if I say it is difficult work with no A, I'm talking about the things I do as a teacher is what's difficult. But does it really matter on how I say this as an English speaker? Sort of. It kind of matters because it kind of tells me, okay, well, I understand that being a teacher, the occupation as a whole as a teacher is hard. It is difficult. But doing the work as a teacher is also difficult too. So it still makes sense either or, but as an English native speaker, I can see automatically if you're talking about the job or the work that comes with or the work that comes to doing that job. It's both difficult. So in a way, they're still connected in a way. So that's why I'm saying it's not that difficult for an English native speaker to get it, because we understand. This can also be applied if you're like, for example, let's say you're a nurse. It is a difficult job, but I love it. So we're talking about nursing, like being a nurse is a hard job. But if you say, oh, I am a nurse, it is difficult work, but I love it. You're talking about what do you do as a nurse. You come in, you wake up your patients at 6 in the morning. You are there at the hospital from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Usually 8 hours to 12-hour shifts, depending on what shift you take. That is what is considered difficult. But yeah, as you can see, the context based on that changes. Next, number 4. It took me years to find, again, they have the word so it took me years to find a job. So again, if I were to delete this, I would need to not delete this. If I were to change the word to work, it took me years to find work I love, right? This is also accepted in everyday conversation. It took me years to find work I love. We have to get rid of then it can become work. You have to get rid of That's how it works there. So it took me years to find work I love. So that tells me as a native speaker that it took you many years to find a job or something, just something that you really enjoy, that you love. So it took you many years to find, for example, a hobby that you love. Because the word work can be like, oh, it's a job that is probably a hobby that you enjoy. So it's very generalized. But if you specify by saying it took me years to find a job I love, you're talking about the occupation, whatever you picked up. So yeah, just a very small nuance of differences. It can go long ways, and that is the difference between intermediate high and intermediate level and intermediate low. When we're talking about English learners who are at intermediate level, we actually have to give you a category if you're intermediate low, intermediate, or intermediate high, because the jump from intermediate to advanced learner is pretty significant of a leap. So it's better to just subcategorize, it's easier to subcategorize the intermediate level, because there's a lot of people that I know who are in that category. And if you're in the high department, you can kind of make the jump to the advanced, but it's hard. Anyways, sorry, I'm going on a spiel here. I have a lot of blank to finish. It has to be work. So don't be confused just because is there. It's not before it. If it's before it, I have a lot of job to finish. It doesn't sound right either way, but usually the A, if it's at the front, that's when you know it's going to become a noun. The word here, a lot, it might confuse you if you say a job in terms of syntax or the category. This is your article, and articles are usually going with nouns. A lot is, I think this is a determiner. I can double check on that, because what we're trying to say, it's it's like one of the words, like a lot, many, sometimes. I think they categorize that as determiners. I'm trying to remember. It's on the list of syntax on the tree diagram. I believe it's a determiner, but it's telling you the frequency. So a lot of also is an example of a phrasal verb. Lovely. Lovely. A lot of. So it's a lot and then plus of. So yeah, that's a lot of things to remember. But if you remember and you're familiar with this, so you have article before noun, then you know job is going to be the next one. So a job. And it's not, it doesn't look like that here. It's a lot of. Then you have determiners for that. So telling you the frequency or like how many is being counted here. A lot of phrasal verbs. All right. Next. I really want to blank in marketing. So this is being used as a verb. I really want to. How do you know it's going to be used as a verb? It's the word to. To is an indicator for verb. So to what? To work. I want to work in marketing. This one, number 7, I have a right here, part-time job. So it has to be job. So you might be asking me, okay, what's the difference between 5 and 7? A lot of and a part-time job. Well, to show you the answer for number 7, I actually have to show it here. Remember, we said a lot is a determiner, so it's joining many sometimes. So they're telling you how much something is. It determines the frequency, right? So if we say a part-time job, a part-time job, or we know this is going to be a noun. It's because we know already a is an article. What else can be before a noun, right? This is an adjective. Article plus adjective plus noun. So the noun must be job. So here, a part-time job. So the example here that I want to show, and I'm going to use a different color just to give you an idea of it. We'll use gray. If I were to take off part-time, so I remove the adjective, what is left behind? I have a blank. So part-time's disappeared, for example. I have a blank. So by default, it's job. I have a job. Those are like small notes I can show you to determine the two. Next, number 8. Do you get to blank by car or train? So again, we are looking at the word to. So we have to look at something that gives a verb. So the only one that has verb is work. Do you get to work by car or train? Let me see here again. Sorry. Okay. My mistake. So, number 6, 2. And then number 7. No, sorry, number 8. I need to combine this because some people might not know the difference between these two. So, this 2 right here, I really want to work. Okay. So this 2 is used as a, what's it called? I know it's a verb marker. What did we call it again? This is a verb marker. This one is a different one. Oh, okay, I remember. Infinitives. Aha, too many things in my brain. I really want to work in marketing. This one, do you get to blank by car? So this one is used as a preposition. How do I know this is a verb and this is preposition? It's because this one, get, is a verb. And then this is followed by... Dang, we're really getting to nitty-gritty stuff here. Do you want to get to work by car or train? So it's being used as a preposition too, interestingly. And then I really want to work in marketing. It's used as a verb. Want is also being used as a verb, but I'm trying to think of something here. What kind of verb was it called? I remember it was like some sort of... okay. That's why it's so confusing. Okay. Bear with me, this is advanced level right here for a second. Okay, so want is also being used as a verb. The phrase to work in marketing, to work is an infinitive, so it's a verb again. Okay, so bear with me. Infinitives is similar to something called gerunds. And this is basically these two words here, infinitives and gerunds. I can make space somewhere. They're basically verbs that become nouns. So for example, I like walking. So like is your main verb, walking is your gerund, which is basically a verb becomes a noun. So infinitives is basically being used similar as gerunds. It's being used as a noun, which is why it's so confusing. And then here it's different because do you get to work? It's like, how do you get to a location? So you know this one is location based on the context, hopefully. So if it's location, this has to be a preposition. So it's a location marker. There you go. That's the explanation for that. All right, number 9. What time do you finish work? It's being used as a noun. Tyler wants to leave his work. Or technically here, the correct one to use is the word job. Tyler wants to leave his job. It's because the context is he's quitting. So Tyler wants to leave his job. But you can use it as Tyler wants to leave his work. But the context there would be different. So again, you can use the word his work, but the meaning would be different. That's what it means. Tyler wants to leave his work becomes he wants to leave the activities at home. Whatever it is that he has to do for work, he wants to leave it at home. So there's a change of meaning here. Just because you use the word job or the word work, it just changes the meaning. So you gotta be careful with all of this. And don't worry if you are part of my Discord community. The link is in the description if you want to join. I will have all of the PDF files and my notes on it in there so you can have a reference to it. And then if you choose to subscribe to my Ko-Fi account and choose to be a member, I also give the practice book pages for each chapter, and I put it under a forum, but only specific Ko-Fi members can get that access to those PDF files. And of course, if you were to send it to me, I would grade it quickly and let you know how well you did on that. Yeah. Okay. So moving on, we're looking at 7.6, listen to the audio, then number the pictures in order they are described. We have a picture of a woman. Let me zoom in here. It looks like we have a woman who just left her car and it's at night. We have a woman here on the phone. We have a gentleman pointing at the plane or whatever the text is right there. We have another woman, looks like she's on holiday. Letter E, it looks like we have a flight attendant. And then letter F, we have, I don't know if it's the same woman on here, who is doing research or something. She's looking at a newspaper. Okay, so we do have an audio that I can play for you guys. So let me just tone down this. And then go ahead and type in, what exercise is this? 7.6? Okay. So I need to lower this down. So you can listen to the audio. So this is 7.6, and I'll open the link for you guys.
Hello, Kai.
Hi, Siobhan. What are you up to these days? Are you still working as a travel agent?
No, not anymore. I got bored working behind a desk, so I started looking for a new job last year. I spent weeks looking through ads in the newspaper, but I finally found the perfect job.
So, what do you do now?
I'm a flight attendant.
That's great. How are you finding it?
I'm really enjoying it. I had to do 6 weeks of training before I could start working on the planes, but the job is great fun. The only bad thing about it is working shifts. Sometimes I have to go to work in the middle of the night.
That's awful.
It's okay. We get a lot of annual vacation, so that makes up for the shifts. I took some time off to go to Jamaica last month.
I'm glad it's all going well for you.
Okay, so what you had to do here was just label them in the order that you hear them. Listen to the audio, then number the picture in the order they are described. I will play it one more time. For those of you who are watching, you can rewatch this audio again, or pause the video and then fill this in and listen to the audio again, or just listen to the second time that I'm going to play it for you guys. So let me pull that up again. And here we go.
Hello, Kai.
Hi, Siobhan. What are you up to these days? Are you still working as a travel agent?
No, not anymore. I got bored working behind a desk, so I started looking for a new job last year. I spent weeks looking through ads in the newspaper, but I finally found the perfect job.
So, what do you do now?
I'm a flight attendant.
That's great. How are you finding it?
I'm really enjoying it. I had to do 6 weeks of training before I could start working on the planes, but the job is great fun. The only bad thing about it is working shifts. Sometimes I have to go to work in the middle of the night.
That's awful.
It's okay. We get a lot of annual vacation, so that makes up for the shifts. I took some time off to go to Jamaica last month.
I'm glad it's all going well for you.
Okie dokie. And then let me just fix my audio for a second. Cool. Okie dokie. Alright, let's compare answers here. So number 1, we know that she used to work behind a desk and she did not like the job because it was boring. So number 2, she was looking at new jobs, so it was letter F. Oh, I'm using the wrong color. The black. So number 2 is F. Number 3, we have what she found was becoming a flight attendant. Number 3. Then she talked about her training, so I believe the next one is letter C. Number 5, she mentioned that she, one of the flaws or the disadvantages of her job was that she had to work in the middle of the night. So that's letter A. And the last one is that she has a lot of annual leave, so vacations. So there you go. That should be your answer. All right. Number 7. Also, let me double check for time. Oh wow, it's already been like 90 minutes. So this is gonna be the last one, I think, for today. And then we just finished chapter 7, I think. Because I talked so much about notes and stuff and looking at how we could look at words. Typically I don't give this much information. It just happens on the fly when I see something and I'm like, okay, it's there, so I'm gonna break it down. Anyways, so it looks like we'll do chapter 8 next week. So we are looking at chapter 7.7. Read the article and match the highlighted words. So this is gonna be another example of just vocabulary. Business today. 2 careers. Let me see if I can pinch it bigger. Come on. Here we go. Teacher Selim Hussein and financial consultant Josie McDonald talked to Joan Ridden about their career paths since finishing their studies. Selim: after I completed my advanced studies in nursing, I worked in teaching hospitals and enjoyed a fabulously interesting career. Just a note, fabulously, I feel like this is such a British thing to say. We don't say that in English, American English. At 32, I had a very demanding role in emergency medicine. Once I became a father and there were some extra stresses at work, it became too much and I decided to resign, despite loving the work. I was lucky because one of my old professors contacted me and I began teaching part-time. Training nurses is the best job in the world. Josie: my first job was as a financial assistant. This was a great experience and it helped me get a job as a corporate banker. I always met my targets, so I was quickly promoted and rewarded with large pay raises. I was quite wealthy by the time I was 35. Then came the worldwide financial slump. My bank lost money, and many highly paid executives lost their jobs, including me. I was now unemployed for the first time in my work life. I worked freelance as a consultant and then opened my own consultancy, which now employs 50 staff. All right, so the things that are highlighted here are our new jargon, or you'll hear me say this a lot, so that's why I'm just gonna write it here. Vocabulary, aka jargon. So jargon is using specific words used in a specific field. Chapter 7 is all about occupation and jobs, so this is a specific jargon. So all of these vocabulary is all pertaining to work or occupation. So this is called a jargon. As you can tell, everything here in yellow is going to fit inside these boxes below. So we have career, resign, training, experience, promoted, unemployed, and freelance. I think that was about it. Yeah. And these are where you're gonna put those slots in. You have number 1, given a more important job. 2, working for different companies on a variety of jobs. 3, teaching specific skills to people who are learning a job. 4, when you learn new skills by working in a job. 5, to tell your employer that you have decided to leave your job. And 6, without a job. So I will give you guys a minute. And for those of you who need more time and you're watching this video after the stream, pause the video, and then we're gonna go answer the questions and compare. Okay. Let's go ahead and compare answers. So we have number 1, given a more important job. Based on these words above, we already have career, so that's already done. We have resign, experience, training, promoted, unemployed, or freelance. So given a more important job would be promoted. Again, the word choices or the words that they use to explain it is kind of questionable. So if you needed to do process of elimination, which means that you put the other vocabs in first before you got to number 1, that's perfectly fine. 2, working for different companies on a variety of projects. This one is called freelance. Number 3, teaching specific skills to people who are learning a job. This one is, I think it's training. There you go. Number 4, when you learn new skills by working in a job. Experience. Number 5, to tell your employer that you have decided to leave your job. The answer is here, resign. Sorry, my R's usually look like V's according to my students. It happens. And the last one, without a job, unemployed. Okay. Hopefully you guys got the same answers. And then I believe that's it for chapter 7. Job and work, job and profession, talking about your new career. Alright, so we will work on chapter 8, routine and free time in the near future. Oh yeah, so remember how I said that the word a lot has like frequency or number? Here it is, adverbs of frequency. We'll work on this next week and we will show you how they work. I believe they ordered it from 0 to 100, so you should be good to go from there. But yeah, that was today's session on everyday English. English for everyone. I apologize. Alright, so we got to the end of today's stream. We have questions, comments, concerns, or suggestions. Yeah, I think it's awesome. It's the first time I've had like 3 people on this stream. One of them is my editor, the other one is my laptop or my tablet where I'm checking that the audio is okay. So Hans, thank you for being here for almost 2 hours, an hour and 38 minutes to be exact. If you guys are watching the stream, for the person who joined, thank you for joining. I hope you learned something new from today's stream. We also have, let's see. If you ever feel like answering questions, you are allowed to type it in the YouTube channel if you wish to. I also recommend, if you want, we have a forum in my Discord called the Homebody Cafe, and I usually update a forum where I attach the links. All the information is in there, and then you can make a comment or a sub forum underneath the forum, like answering what you guys wrote or learned from the lesson. Sorry, that's just Jack moving in the back. But yeah, I'm very active on the Discord community. It might take me like a few hours to respond, but this is where I typically update when I do have streams or if I'm running late. Today I didn't have a chance to communicate that I was running a bit late today. I was just kind of playing by ear, and I did wake up a little bit late from my nap. But yeah, that's it for today's stream. I hope you guys learned a lot from the word occupations and jargon. So yeah, and also seeing a little bit of how using certain words can kind of give a different meaning, so you got to be careful in how you say things. And it doesn't apply to every word in English, but if you phrase them together, there's usually like a message or a tone that comes with it. And always know that there can always be ways to say things better or communicate things better, and it just takes time and practice. And of course, when you have an opportunity to talk to a native English speaker, your English will definitely improve. So I always recommend, if you are already in the intermediate and advanced area, go get yourself an English native speaker to help you build that awareness, because that's how you're gonna get better in the language that you learned. So yeah. So I go live on Discord every Tuesday to 8 p.m. So as you guys are watching this on YouTube, I'm actually also live on Discord at the moment. So I stream this entire live stream through Discord, and I'm also recording it on YouTube. So yeah, it causes some lag sometimes. So I hope you guys can deal with that or be okay with that for now, because in the future, when I upgrade into a PC, hopefully my computer can handle these graphics. My laptop cannot handle it at the moment. So yeah, it's a pretty old laptop. I bought this, I think, during my undergrad program, maybe 4 years ago. So I was proud at the time that it was a very good and fast and working laptop, and I could play multiple games. But now that games have definitely upgraded, I can't play the same games anymore. So this laptop is kind of old, and I'm using a laptop for streaming. Yes. But yeah, I'm actually thinking about in the near future that I might have live streams in the morning. We will see if I can keep that word, but I will definitely announce it if I can do it and commit to it. It's just because with my new schedule with teaching, and also since most of my students are from Asia, I feel like teaching at 5 or 6 in the morning, or yeah, 5 in the morning. I feel like waking up at 5 in the morning would be ideal to help the students who are from Asia around that area, or in those countries, to learn from my stream. But it's just a thought right now, and I'm just letting you guys know ahead of time, because I might consider and post an actual announcement if I can commit to it. But again, it just really depends, because my schedule is super crazy right now with my new job hours. Or sorry, not job hours. With my new work hours. There we go. Let's use proper English. So with my new work hours, I still have to manage my my social battery. So I don't know how I'm gonna fix that yet. It's still in the works, in progress, and we will see. I will announce it in the group if it does actually happen. So yeah, fingers crossed. Hopefully I will come back and do my study with me sessions again in the morning, because I really enjoyed that, and that did keep me motivated to keep studying French at the time. So with all the times and events that changed, I was unable to post those streams anymore. And you guys knew I was kind of consistent. I did like 3 to 5 times a week. for like the first month or so. So hopefully I'll come back. I don't know if I'll be studying French. I'm actually considering studying Spanish since my job has a lot of Spanish speakers. So I'm like thinking about remembering or restudying my Spanish soon. But this is all just in plans. It's not set in stone. I will announce it if it's set in stone. So all of that can be found in my Discord community on the Homebody Cafe Discord channel. So other than that, thank you guys for joining today. I hope you enjoyed our lesson from chapter 7, and I will see you guys next week. It's been a good almost 2 hours, or 1 hour and 44 seconds and 15 seconds to be accurate. And I will see you guys next time. Alright, I'm gonna go sleep because I have work tomorrow. Bye guys, good night. I wish you all a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Eat something healthy, stay hydrated, keep yourself warm in this cold weather. If you are in an area that has cold weather, if it's hot over there, wherever you are, just stay hydrated and stay safe. Take care, guys. Bye.